My name's Lesley Bradley. I volunteer for a community group called Transition Penwith, and we've been asked to talk about how to engage with a local MP and local authorities. We started a campaign in January 2021 to try and persuade our Member of Parliament, Derek Thomas, to support the Climate and Ecology Bill, which is a bill, a private member's bill, which is currently hoping to go through Parliament to be made into law. But I want to spend more time on how we actually did that. Derek Thomas did support the Climate and Ecology Bill, but you can find out about that. We'll put links in. It's a campaign, a national campaign from 0 Hour, which you might have heard about. But I think we worked for 2 years on this campaign, and I think one of the key things was actually that we really saw that the way to the Member of Parliament was through his constituents, and it was actually the community that we spent a lot more time trying to engage with than the Member of Parliament. It was a multi-pronged approach. Jonathan will talk a bit more about the local authority side from the town council perspective. So we found that it was important to identify different sectors within the community. So our campaign was really across the whole board. We were looking at very mainstream language, and we were being very careful to be respectful and to be open and friendly, and to not do too much scaremongering, like we've got to act now, it's all gonna. We were really wanted to try and provide solutions and to provide positive examples of what could be done. So we had support from schools and from churches, from people working in health. We had support from the retail around Penzance and the businesses, the environmental groups, which obviously we were expecting would support, and people in the arts. And so how we arrived at that was actually identifying people within those sectors that we already knew. So people that we knew understood the issue, people that we called sort of trusted messengers, really. And then they would go into the networks that they knew and talk about this need to ask Derek Thomas to support this bill. So raising awareness. That's my timer. Got 1 minute left. So language was very important. We worked a lot on language. We offered solutions. I put up links about permaculture design and about transition networks, because it would be very useful, I think, for people to look at those two organisations. And we had a multi-pronged approach. People could write to their MP, they could send an email, they could sign an open letter, or they could sign a petition. So we had lots of various things that people could choose to do to influence their Member of Parliament. Any more? I think that's, yeah, you go.
Okay.
I think that's, yeah.
So I had a historic involvement in Transition Penwith over the last decade or so. But then in 2017, I got elected to Penzance Council. And in the initial couple of years, actually wasn't quite sure what I could do there, really. But then due to the heightened interest in climate emergencies and so on, I was the person who proposed that Penzance Council declared a climate emergency in 2019. And much to my amazement, it was unanimously voted in. And so then we developed a climate action plan, which had 3 kind of aspects to it. One of which was obviously putting our own house in order, those doing the things that we could do within our own actually relatively small council. The second one, which I think I view as most important really, is general awareness raising of the issues. And the third one was lobbying of other organizations higher up in the the governmental chain. And so that's the broad spectrum of what we agreed to. And one of the main things that we did in that first couple of years, that we funded a local organisation, Sustainable Penzance, to produce this toolkit, personal toolkit for people. And this was mailed out to every household in Penzance parish. And it came with a covering letter from the then mayor saying, we think this is important and therefore you should as well. And that was like a really important aspect to it, really, that we were trying to use the credibility of the council to influence people more. And so in obviously when you end up as a councillor, and then I became the mayor of Penzance in 2021, you end up meeting people like your local MP quite a bit more than you do as an ordinary person on the street. And so I was also involved in this campaign to support 0 Hour, and got to have quite a lot more interactions with Derek Thomas, who is our local Conservative MP. And I think that's been a very interesting process. He had a lot of people from Extinction Rebellion dealing with him in various ways. And I think he found that a bit frightening, to be honest. So basically, I thought the good cop, bad cop technique was the best. So I've been as nice as I possibly could be to him all along. And I think that has been reciprocated. And it wasn't that he didn't want to kind of grasp these things. He did. And he then took things forward, and he worked with me and somebody who's the local climate ambassador for the Women's Institute. And we, for 18 months or so, we ran some online monthly events where he got speakers in. Mostly he got the speakers in, sometimes from ministries and so on. And we had local people listening and then asking them questions directly. And then, you know, to my amazement, he actually became a supporter of the bill. And I think it has really proved to me that kind of approach is worthwhile. And I just want to read you a paragraph from a letter that he wrote to me. And this isn't to sing my own praises particularly, but it's to emphasize that this approach actually works. He sent me this gushing letter after my term as Penzance Mayor ended, and he said, "Thank you also for your friendship and companionship. Party politics is often divisive and frustrates the ability to make progress on issues that matter. However, you have been prepared to rise above this, and it is democracy in action, which is quite often rare." So that was a really lovely thing to hear, actually. I just wish his voting record in the House of Commons was a little better than it was. Anyway, thank you.